Hi, everyone. A few weeks ago at church, we finished a series in the book of Joshua that we called Courage. And based on the response I've gotten from a lot of you, it seems like that series really resonated with so many of us. And for good reason, right? Life can be challenging, and following Jesus really does take courage. Today, I want to just talk to you a little bit about the ways in which God is calling us as a church to take steps of faith and courage. In the book of Joshua, we saw God had promises that he wanted to fulfill. He had places that he wanted to take his people. But to step into those new things, it was going to take faith and courage on the part of his people. And I really do believe we're in a similar place today as a church. God has made promises that he wants to fulfill through Rose Drive Friends Church. God wants to bless us and use us to expand his kingdom in new and wonderful ways. But just like the people of God in the Old Testament, it's going to take faith and courage for us to move forward. So often in the Old Testament story, when people needed to take steps of courage, they needed their faith to be enlivened. They would retell the stories of the many ways God had been faithful to them. And I think it works that way for us too. We have so many things to thank God for. So many ways that we see him at work in and through the people of our church. In fact, if you're on our webpage watching this video, there are more videos beneath this one where you can hear stories about the ways God is working in the lives of people. So I invite you to click on those. And I'm looking forward to the ways God is taking us, calling us into new areas of faith, new expansions of ministry in this coming year. But as we move into the Christmas season specifically, let me just ask you two things. Two things that are so important to the movement of God in our church. And the first is this: who are you asking to come with you? Christmas is an amazing season, an opportunity to connect with people, to show love, to show God's love to them. And we've been talking a lot as a congregation about the way we want to show love to our neighbors. And so let me ask you to pray, to consider, God, who is it that you've placed in my life that you want me to invite to come along with me during the Christmas season? The second question I want to ask you is, what would it mean for you to be even more generous this December? Part of moving ahead into the vision that God has for us is finishing the year well financially. But more than that, we want to be generous so that it propels us into the new year, so that we can say yes to all of the things that God is calling us to. Again, would you ask God what it would mean for you to be generous toward his mission this year? Whether you've never given a gift to Rose Drive Friends Church before, or whether you're a faithful and consistent giver, we're grateful for you. And we want to ask you, might you take a further step to fuel the mission? My friends, as we head to the new year, I believe this is going to be our Joshua year. The year where God asks us to take big steps of faith and courage. And I know God's going to bless us as we do. I know he has blessing ahead for us. And I want to encourage you to come along that journey with us. My friends, I know God will be with us. That was his promise then, and that is his promise now. And Christmas is the ultimate reminder of the fact that God promises to be with us. The child that is born that we celebrate, Jesus, in the Old Testament, we were told he would be called Emmanuel, which does mean God with us. And so let's go forward in faith and in courage. God bless you.